Well, earlier I spoke to Maria Zakharova, the press secretary for the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and she told me that Russia would do everything to protect its citizens on the ground in Syria. She also said Russia has suspicions that the British government may be holding Yulia Skripal against her will. I started by asking her, though, what she thought about President Trump's tweet threatening Russia with missile attacks.
I was a bit surprised that such strong messages are sent through social networks, because this is actually the matter and the case to take a phone and to call your partners all over the world. And
do you think
to
it's
start
rude?
Rude?
Yeah.
Do you still think that this word is existing in our world? I really doubt.
You think it's gone beyond that in terms of the relationship between Russia and the United States? Way beyond that.
You know, I don't think we should mark the words saying this word is rude and this is a polite word, because we have Syria on board. I mean, with all these troubles happening to the people and children, and what we actually want, and I'm 100% sure that American people, British people, French people, I mean common people, they really want peace for this country.
But let's talk about the imminence of a strike. Donald Trump has said it might not happen now, it might not happen soon, but still giving the sense that it is going to happen. Is that the assessment of the Russian Federation, that the United States and its allies will launch some form of military operation pretty soon in Syria?
In 2015, President of Russia, during his statement in New York, UN headquarters, asked for world cooperation on Syria on combating terrorism. For these years, I mean about 3 years past, our proposal is still on the table, and we actually are looking forward to closer cooperation with other countries on Syria. We really want it and we really need it.
But it doesn't seem to be happening. That's the point. The missiles are coming, according to the President of the United States. And may you clarify for us...
So please don't ask me about what U.S. President is doing. Please ask...
I was asking you about the assessment of the Russian Federation.
No, I mean,
and
know.
indeed the response. This is very important, the response of the Russian Federation. Should missiles be launched...
Russia should protect its people on the ground, of course.
Russia should protect its people
Absolutely.
on the ground. What about the incoming missiles? We had this from the ambassador to Lebanon, that they would be shot down and the bases from which they come attacked.
I want to stress one more time, and that was the idea of our ambassador in Lebanon as well, that Russia will protect its people on the ground. This is obvious, which is this is the task for each and every country in the world, to protect its citizens on the ground.
So if Russian lives are lost, if Russian blood is spilt, will American blood be spilt?
I really don't want to even think about this, because, you know, I just want to remind you and myself and everybody who will watch this, this interview, that we're living in 2018. We have all sorts of communication, including Twitter, and we can resolve all the questions like that, just picking up the phone, just sending messages. And I think that this is the case which should be resolved through the communication, but not through force.
I was reading just yesterday that the last leader of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev, no less, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, saying that it is imperative that these two presidents must meet, that a summit must take place, as he held with President Reagan and President George H.W. Bush, that this is the way to sort it out.
That is his opinion. As a person, in my personal capacity, I can say that the only thing I want as a mother, as a wife, as just a citizen of my country, and actually a citizen of the world, because I have lots of friends all over the world, all I want is peace. Peace for both, for Syrian people, for others, and especially I want peace for my country.
You said earlier that Russia holds no candle, doesn't necessarily support all of President Assad's policies or indeed his methods.
I'm not an advocate for Syria, and especially for Mr. Assad. Actually, before chemical disarmament, and before even that, Mr. Assad was the best friend not of Moscow, but of London and Washington. He's not our guy. He's much more your guy. We are in Syria just to stop terrorism and stop spreading ISIL and other terrorist organizations.
But this specific attack, which has led us to the situation wherein it's the Russian position that it wasn't an attack, that it has been faked.
Let us be absolutely clear. For that particular case that happened a couple of days ago,
on Saturday,
we are 100% sure that that was a clear provocation. For example, white helmets, we are absolutely sure were involved in this provocation.
But
what we
coming from the Russian military
is
a sense that there was no chemical weapons attack altogether, and that these scenes were faked, they were acted, they were put together.
Exactly. And what we need to prove what that was it just a provocation to be shown as a chemical attack, or there were any sort of chemical materials? What we propose is to send the representatives of Organization of Prohibition of Chemical Weapons to the ground.
Who are you inviting?
The experts and representatives of International Organization of Prohibition of Chemical Weapons.
PCW,
yeah.
Yes. And the World Health Organization want to come in as well?
They can do it together, but of course the first place is for Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons.
Onto the Skripals. You must be delighted about the recovery of Yulia Skripal.
Oh yes. The only thing that we actually want to be sure that this is for real. Because for that particular moment, we have just zero information from official London about what is going on with her.
Do you think she's actually been abducted, as the Russian embassy said in London? Abducted?
We have such suspicions. We have such a feeling, yes.
Held against her will?
Probably yes. Because the whole issue, it's a mystery. We do not have any sort of official information what happened in Salisbury. I know that Great Britain is full of cameras. I don't know how you call them.
CCTV, closed circuit television cameras. You're right.
Something like that, which is actually a sort of providing security in the country. So where are the materials from these cameras? Why they are so secret that nobody can present them to the audience? Accusations should be made after investigation, but not before.
Well, there are some in the British political world who perhaps more towards your view on questions to be asked. And I'm thinking of the leader of the opposition, Jeremy Corbyn, who may in the next election become Prime Minister. Is his take on this the idea that there more questions need to be asked, and indeed when it comes to Syria that no action should take place without a debate in the House of Commons?
I don't think that he's advocating Russia. I think that he's much more about
he's
more
questioning.
pragmatic.
He's just questioning.
Yeah, he's very pragmatic, and he is asking questions which are Russia is asking, and journalists and the media are asking, because actually we want to know what happened and why we're refused of providing us this information. So all he is talking about is just a pragmatic thing, because if you are accusing a whole state in doing such things, you should give any sort, of playing cards. You should put some cards on the table. What do you have? Or you just have a poker face.
Maria Vladimirovna, we appreciate you giving us so much time. Thank you very much indeed.